Today's run was cruising. Good legs, clear head, feeling like I had life all worked out. And then I turned back into the wind, nearly got clipped by a car and lost my rhythm in about 3 seconds. This episode isn't about fitness, it's about how fast things can change, how easy it is to get comfortable when conditions suit us, and how quickly we need to reset when rhythm disappears. 3 moments from one run, 3 lessons for life. Let's go. I'm Ian Hawkins, and this is Sport is Life. The purpose of sport as I see it is to see your vision become a reality, find your voice, create strong connections, and learn to trust your body. So one of the things that happened back in last year is I would do my run where I often get inspiration for podcast ideas, and then I would go, okay, I'll come back to that, and I'd forget, or the moment had passed, I'd forget the gist of the idea. Even though I took some notes, I couldn't really reconnect back to the idea. So I'm like, okay, this year I've just got to record it in the moment, regardless of where I am, the condition I'm in. So for those watching on YouTube, my face will be redder than usual. And if you're listening, jump on to YouTube, subscribe while you're there, because I want to get those numbers up and check out what I'm talking about. But hard slog today. It's not too hot, but the temperature's getting up. And because it's had a bit of a break over the new year and just getting back into it, today was my faster run. Certainly not, I wouldn't call it fast, but faster. So it's a bit of a slog. But I had some ideas, so I want to share those with you today. And the first is I went for a long hike yesterday, and just great to get out in nature. But today, the way my pattern of running ended up is I'm doing the fast run the day after a hike. And I didn't think about it until I was probably a couple of Ks in. But the funny thing was I actually felt amazing. Like I felt like I was running really quick. Every time the little microphone with the announcement told me that what time I was running, there was a car going past, or I couldn't hear it, or whatever. So as far as I know, I'm running fast. So this is good. I'm feeling good. I must be getting a bit of fitness going, getting back to better health. I've been having a more of a conscious effort to get back to those good, healthy habits. And then I reached the point where I turned back, and there's a little gentle hill at first, so that was okay. But then once I started on the uphill, I realised I was actually heading straight back into a pretty reasonably strong breeze. I realised why it had felt so easy. I had the wind at my back. There's a few downhill sections, but even on the uphill, I felt good. And it's a reminder in life how when the conditions are good, when you're feeling good, when you've got momentum, everything feels easy. But that doesn't mean you've got it sorted out. That doesn't mean around the corner you're going to have another challenge where things will slow down. So the key is that when things are feeling good and they're going well, you want to make the most of it. But you don't want to push yourself to the point of exhaustion. So I've fallen for that before while I'm running. So I didn't go over the top. I made sure I tried to go as well as I could, as fast as I could, but I also didn't go crazy because I knew that I would have to turn back, and there's a few decent uphills on the run back. So that's the important thing is just knowing that there is a rhythm to life. It's like radio waves, energy waves, any waves. There's an up and there's a down. And that's just how life goes. And the important thing is that when you're on the upward trajectory, that even though the down is not as significant, and in fact it's more often like a plateau, there still is a slowdown. And you've got to be prepared for that, and you've got to know that it's coming. So that's the first one, is just be aware of the rhythm of things. And speaking of rhythm, I'm heading up the last of the big hills. It's a fairly long one as well. And a car comes out of the driveway just as I get there. And I literally ran into the car. And me and the driver both kind of looked at each other like we were both in the wrong. And I'm certainly not blaming them because they were coming up. They'd picket fences on either side, so they couldn't see. But the shock on their face was quite funny. But But yeah, it's just one of those things. You can't do anything about it. People are usually pretty aware, but if you just can't see, you can't see. And she wasn't going fast, so it was no big deal. But what it reminded me of is just how important rhythm is, because when you get knocked off it, which can happen like that just instantly, then you just realize how good it was when you're in that rhythm. So you need to find a rhythm. With those up and downs, with those waves, it's important to find a rhythm for your day, for your life, for your sport, your work, whatever it is. What works for you? For some people, it's going to be having a really clear structure and then just sticking that 100% all day. For others, yes, still a structure. Structure is important, but more flexibility within that to use their creativity for conversations and for some variety. So get your rhythm, but also know that you will be knocked off, and being able to adjust and then be able to get back to it. So what gets you into rhythm? Be aware of the sort of things that knock you off. Minimize them if you can. You can't remove them altogether. And then know how you get yourself back into rhythm. And that might just be redirecting yourself to the plan. It could be something else. You may need someone to just bring you back, like have a conversation, just ask someone a question. For me, a little bit ADHD, a little bit external processor. Sometimes I'll just go to say to someone in the house, I've got a question, I've just got to work this out. And then the moment I start speaking, I've already solved it. So it's that external processing. That gets me back to rhythm quite often, more often than not talking to someone as well. So know what that is, know what your rhythm looks like, and be aware that you'll get knocked off, and know how to get yourself back into rhythm. Really important. And then the third thing is something that I don't always do after a run, but today I was pretty beat, so I did, and that's to get my shoes off and get in the backyard, bare feet on the ground, to feel grounded. And this is not woo-woo, right? If you want to look up the science of this, it's really important. We are a battery, or like a salt battery, right? And we recharge through the earth. The number of nerve endings we have in our feet, it's a really sensitive part of the body, and when you stand barefoot on the earth, you literally exchange energy with the earth and you recharge. Look up the science. It's fascinating, really interesting. It works. You need some process to it, and it's not just about walking around there. Although that does work, like with anything, there's layers to it. It's why when you go to the beach, initially you may feel really tired. Sun, the wind, the air, the water, that can do it too. But also sometimes when you go to the beach, you've switched off and your body just needs that recharge. And it is recharging even though you feel tired. It's just that you're getting the relaxation that you needed. But at other times, you would have noticed that after a week away or a day at the beach, or then once you get yourself home and then maybe you've had a shower and then you've had a nice feed and everything, that, yeah, you're energized. And this is what grounding does, and the beach is one of the best places to ground. Like I said, yeah, sometimes you will be exhausted, but that's more a reflection of what you were like in the lead up to that. You probably really needed the rest, and your body's telling you to continue resting even with that grounding. So if we look at it, it's the sort of the key elements of this. It's looking at resistance when it's not there, or when it's actually the energy's in your favor. But then when you hit that resistance, the rhythm, how important that is, and then the reset is after you've done anything, take a moment to pause, to recharge, and then you're ready to go again. And all of those three things was the mental reset and the shift in thinking to remind me to record this straight away, sweat and red face and all, so that I could share this message while it was completely fresh in my head. So reminding myself of my own rhythm. So I'll leave it there. I've got to share. I've got some awesome guests coming up. In the next 5 weeks, I am interviewing some pretty big names in the world of sport, particularly if you're Australian. Well, pretty much if you're Australian, but one of them in particular is a worldwide name, so I'm pretty excited to share that with you. What I've noticed is that some of the videos on YouTube are getting really good views, which is fantastic, and I appreciate you all out there who are watching and listening. What I've also noticed is that a lot of those people aren't subscribed, and if you could subscribe, it's going to really help me to grow this community, to grow the podcast, and to get more of those high quality guests that have almost been falling in my lap, which is pretty cool. I guess that's a reflection of the network I've built up over many years of working in sport and sports television. So pretty cool. All right, leave it there. Like I said, make sure you follow, subscribe, all those things, and I'll catch you on the next one.
You've taken the time to listen to this whole episode. Now it's time to take action. Commit to one thing you've learned today and make it happen. And to avoid any obstructions, join the Sport is Life movement by clicking on the link in the show notes.